And remember, a pastor needs a pastor. Psychiatrist needs a psychiatrist.
A lot of psychiatrists need a psychiatrist.
But you bring this up, really important point. You bring this up. It's so important. It's so important to have a pastor in your life, to have a mentor in your life, to have teachers in your life, because I don't know about folks out there. The toughest thing that I find, one of the toughest things, is when you get the little voice. You hear the little voice, and very often, and thank God, has been the voice of God. This little voice that's moving you toward, and you're either in a decision-making process or whatever, and you'll hear a voice, and the big question to me always is this from God or is this my ego? Or the Greg freaking Meakin thing, right? And this is where a pastor can come in, Mike. And this is where a mentor can come in. We come to these points, these decisions in life that are really tough, and honestly, the answers aren't clear. And maybe there's a little voice in your heart that's urging you, that I think sometimes a little voice can be a disguised temptation, let's just say. But to come to a pastor, Filip, or Rios, or whatever, and say, I've got this voice, I've got this big decision I have to make in life. I do want to make my decisions based on going to the Word and stuff, but I really can't figure this one out, Pastor Mike. I've got this is the decision I have to make. I've got the voice telling me this, but what are your thoughts? They're turning it over to Pastor Mike, turning it over to someone, again, who's, we were taught all along, get a second opinion, right? Seeing a doctor or whatever. So why not in life's forks in the road, or times when you really are kind of confused? Physically understand, be aware, understand you're in a point of confusion. You're really trying to go to the Word. Sometimes it's, as they say, sometimes the heavens are brass or whatever. You can't hear back, but that's why you go to Pastor Mike Filip. That's why you go to these folks and say, hey, can you help me figure this out? And likely having a second opinion, you'll if anything, you won't have necessarily the answers because it's the person's own walk and stuff, but you'll give them a different point of view, and you'll give them a point of view based on the Word, and likely we'll find the solution right there on the spot. So that's why I recommend. That's why you pastors are invaluable, Mikey, invaluable, and you know that.
We're given the anointing for a reason, and that reason is for God's people.
Yes.
We're not better than anybody else. We're not smarter than anybody else. It's a gift.
Right.
And sometimes there can be a lot of sorrow involved. I had a young man in the church tell me, he said, I want to be a pastor someday. I want to be a pastor. Right. Well, that's flattering, right? But I told him, no, you don't. I